champion boxing in sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. So as of right now, as we all know, Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, we're just getting, I think, closer and closer to the end of the year without this fight being announced. And Bob Arum has gone on record to state a few things. And to be honest with you, I happen to agree with Bob Arum. Doesn't matter what we think as far as what other fighters have said about Bob Arum, and Bob Arum not paying them what they deserve, feeling like, he didn't, market them properly. It doesn't matter, okay? He's a promoter. He's going to pay his fighters, but he's not going to pay them, 80% of the profits to be made, okay? That's just how the game goes. Once these guys get through their initial contract, if they proven to be draws or to generate huge profits, then contracts are renegotiated. Fighters find themselves receiving more handsome purses. Or your fighters find that, hey, man, there was like 20 or 25 million made off of me, and I could have gotten that, and then they go independent and do their own thing. And when some fighters do that, it works out. When other fighters do it, it doesn't, okay? But with Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, right, what Bob Arum is saying, and a lot of people are saying this, and I think everyone watching this video would agree. I'm not here to talk about who's the number one, number two, who's going to win the fight, okay? I've done enough videos on that, and we're just all going to agree to disagree. But what I think we can agree on is, what Bob Arum is saying is, everybody wants to see the fight. Everybody. But because there's such a high demand, and the fighters know there's a high demand, then the fighters are going to want an extremely high purse, which may not be feasible with the two fighters' profiles, okay? And when Bob Arum said that, when Eddie Hearn said it, well, when Eddie Hearn said it, I just thought he was, kind of hating a little bit. But at the same time, he has experience in this, and I'm not used to Eddie Hearn trying to totally downplay someone. He normally gives credit where credit's due. But at the same time, he's a promoter, so, I didn't expect him to come and tell them how or what they could do to ensure they make the kind of money they want. He just said something along the lines like, well, the money they're going to want's not there. And I was surprised at that. But Bob Arum has come on and he said, well, hey, basically, I told you so. What you're dealing with in these two fighters is, there's a high demand. There's an extremely high demand to see this fight. But you're probably not going to get it because of the egos. And he talked about what he dealt with Crawford and the ego, and knowing that he was the best pound for pound, probably pound for pound. And Bob Arum admitted he probably is the best. But it doesn't matter how great you are if you can't sell tickets. Okay, so this is, again, the problem they're running into, where Crawford wants a whole lot of money, Spence wants a whole lot of money. But the type of money they're wanting, because they're looking and seeing what's going on outside of the welterweight division. They're seeing AJ getting ready to make $100 million. They're seeing that, Andy Ruiz made a lot of money. They're seeing what's going on right now. Camboso's out there making, probably $12 million or so after all the profits have come in from the different revenue streams, right? So now these guys are going to want, the $20 million person. They're watching Canelo Alvarez. They're going to want the $20, $25 million each. But the money's not there. And I think what really makes it difficult is, okay, so the first sticking point, both of them want money that's just not there. As a result, they don't want to compromise, okay? So let's say let's say they're looking at $20, $25 million paydays. And the reality is maybe they could each get a $10 million payday, okay? They're not going to want that because there's a little bit of doubt there. If you tell Errol Spence, hey, look, realistically, you're looking at a guaranteed purse of $10 million, and you tell Terence Crawford that, when these guys are thinking, well, hey, I should be making, these other fighters are making all this money, why am I only going to make $10 million when Canelo's making 50? They're going to think that something shady's going on, and maybe the other fighter's getting paid more than them. So that's going to be the first issue. The second issue is, even if they both were to agree, okay, on the $10 million guarantees. Now, I'm just throwing fictitious numbers out there, okay? So say, oh, they didn't say that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we're just talking, right? So even if they both agree, okay, well, we can't get to 20, but it's going to be 10 million. Well, I still want 60-40 my way, Crawford or Spence. So I want 50-50. So there's still going to be a problem. So the issue isn't, to me, there's two issues, but the bigger issue is the split, the egos. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So what I foresee happening is I see Crawford and Spence end up having to go to purse bid over a mandatory. I think these guys are forgetting that they each have, like Crawford has a belt, he has mandatories. Spence has 3 belts, he has a bunch of mandatories. And if they can't figure out a fight, they're going to have to fight the mandatories, and they're going to probably make a tenth in those fights of what they would have made if they fought each other. Now, with Spence and Crawford, it's not a matter of waiting for the fight to ripe. It's like watching a green mango on a tree. You're waiting for that to ripen, right? The fight is ripened already, man. It's time to pick it and eat it. You understand? But what's happening is these guys are hurting themselves. I mean, they really are hurting themselves. Now, I'm not saying they should just accept crumbs. That's not what I'm saying, but you're going to go out here and risk losing a fight, getting in the ring with a goddamn, with a Boots Ennis or a Stanley Unis. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are y'all doing? You know, getting in there with Thurman? I don't care what you say. I think they both beat Thurman, but one time they just still have one in the chamber. I mean, you just don't know. But to just go out here, man, and jeopardize the fight over whatever it is. So, bottom line is, we all want to see it, but they're not proven pay-per-view attractions. Okay? So, with the kind of money they want, it's my understanding that for Showtime, or they would have to do 1 million pay-per-view buys. Man, I'm just not sure they can do 1 million pay-per-view buys. And the thing is, with all these different avenues of streaming and, you know, watching the fight, you know, so they're basically getting robbed. You know, and any fighter that has a pay-per-view attraction, they get robbed, man. You know, there's so many people streaming the fights. But I'm just not sure what's going to come out of all this. But Bob Arum, he does feel a bit validated right now, because he's like, it's not that they didn't want to pay Terence. It's just the money wasn't there. They're not going to take money out of their pocket where really he should be getting paid $1.5 million and give him $5 million, and then go in the red $4.5 million. I mean, $3.5 million. Like, they just weren't going to do that. And my understanding is Bob Arum did that repeatedly. Now, the thing is, if the contract stated there'll be a guarantee purse of a certain amount, well, it doesn't matter about ticket sales in the gate and all that, because that's in the contract. That's what he's supposed to get. And that's why I think Bob Arum was just like, hey, let somebody else take him, because I think Bob Arum was kind of anticipating Terence Crawford being able to, you know, profit margin to be a lot higher than what they were. But Terence Crawford didn't really help himself in that matter as far as making himself more marketable and stuff like that. I'm going to tell you right now, it's very hard to do something like Dancing with the Stars. You know what I'm saying? Floyd Mayweather saw big picture. Plus, he can dance. Okay, he likes to boogie woogie. Terence Crawford ain't doing all that shit. You know, so it is what it is. Floyd Mayweather sitting back like, yeah, you can laugh at me if you want. Look at where I am now. He did a lot of stuff to boost his profile, to elevate his profile and ensure his fight purses were expanding at the same time. Terence Crawford needs to learn from that. Now, Errol Spence has a great storyline. If Errol Spence was being marketed a little bit better, in my opinion, the whole world would know about Errol Spence and his story. Talk about a story, man. You know, I could see him on talk shows where they show the clip of the car flipping and everything, and, you know, and how he came out unscathed for the most part. A little bit of, you know, dental work had to be done, some bruising and stuff like that. But his story would really resonate Now, there'll be some backlash because he was drinking and driving, but, you know, it is what it is. But I think for the most part, the downside of what happened with Errol Spence will be overshadowed by just the road to recovery and what he's managed to do with his boxing career. So I think we have something there to really help to market this fight, but it may not be enough, or obviously it's not enough to generate the kind of buzz and money that these guys would need in order to be happy and to settle their egos. But we will see what's going to happen, but the bottom line is none of us know. We only get bits and pieces. But sitting here going into what, August? And plus the year has flown by, hasn't it? Look, it's almost August, man. They're talking about fighting in November. So you got the month of August, September, October, fight in November. So really you got 90 days. If they can't sort something out pretty soon, man, we can't get into September or October, mid-September, talking about a fight in November. Like that's just not gonna work unless they've been training all along and just trying to work out the small stuff. But we'll see. I'm expecting a date to be announced. But what it sounds like, from what I'm hearing from Bob, from what I'm hearing from Tim Bradley, is it's the creep stuff, the egos, and the fact that I think on both sides, not just Crawford, both sides, I don't think really they don't want to come to grips of you guys aren't the kind of fighters who can go in there and expect to make $25 million a piece. Like you're not there, and that's what I'm gathering. Now, I could be wrong, man. You know, only people know are damn Terence Crawford, Errol Spence, and the people involved in the negotiations. But yeah, this ain't no Pacquiao Mayweather, man. No damn 5 million sales. This is no what's his name, Pacquiao and Conor McGregor. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not Pacquiao, Mayweather McGregor and Mayweather De La Hoya, you know, and the Tyson fights. Like this is not what we're dealing with right now. We're just not dealing with it. Not even Canelo is selling over 1 million pay-per-views. And we know he's on the zone and he's bounced all around, but he's not doing those numbers, okay? So pay-per-view is not dead, but it's definitely not what it was. And I don't think because people are so worried about the prices, I just think because there's so many streaming avenues, and that hurts the fighters, and it hurts them going to negotiations when they want to make all this money because the money's just not there. But anyway, we'll see what's going on, man. I really hope this fight comes off because they've been spinning the wheels too long, man. That fight was firmed up. I'm telling you, that fight had been verbally agreed to. There was an expressed contract, and then Crawford wanted to go back and renegotiate because he was like, nah, I should get my 50-50 split. And then that's what's caused some of the problems since. And now, even bigger issue is, shit, the money, even if we wanted to give you guys the money you want, we can't do it. So they're trying to figure that out. Getting sponsors in, and the pay-per-view, they're trying to solve that piece out. They're trying to figure out what all they can do to make the most money, to make sure these guys get paid what really they deserve. But they haven't quite earned it yet. And what I mean by that is marketing themselves the way a Mayweather did. De La Hoya is a unique situation, but you've got to be able to market yourself. And they haven't quite done that. Not saying they haven't done what they were supposed to in boxing. I'm talking about outside of boxing. That's where they've kind of struggled. But we're going to see if they can get the pen to paper, get the announcement here sooner than later. I hope so. But Bob Arum, he kicked some knowledge, man. He dropped a few gems in that interview, and he wasn't gloating. He wasn't happy to see it. He's just saying, man, when you're trying to make a fight of this magnitude with these two fighters with this undisputed distinction, he's just saying, look, yeah, I told you so. It's not that easy. Like you just can't go out there and get a fight like this done in 1 or 2 weeks. Like it's a process, and he's right. So that being said, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Shout out to the veterans. Hopefully we get this fight sooner than later. And as always, I'm in the breeze.